Welcome back to our webcast on getting off to a great start at school. I think it's fair to say that when it comes to technology, most parents feel they're playing a game of catch up with their kids. This generation of children have grown up with the internet and all it offers at their fingertips. It is a big issue and one that we receive endless questions about from parents. So we're going to do our best to provide some practical tips and advice to make the year ahead a cyber safe and happy time for all. So let me start with Greg. We have a question from a parent that's commonly asked. They say, my kids know more about the internet, Facebook and technology than I do. How can I keep them safe? Where do I start? Over to you, Greg.
Thanks, and it certainly is a concern of parents, and with a changing technology that's very difficult to keep up with. I think in the education space we use 3 strategies, and I think it's applicable to parents as well. We need to educate them how to be online, how to be safe online. We also use in schools a filtering system, and that's something parents can also use from parent controls and some of the filtering. And the third thing is supervision, recognising you can't be looking over your child all the time, shoulder all the time, but you need to know what they are doing in some sort of shape. One of the things, we have a digital citizenship program that actually helps the students work through that, and it's also available to parents. So it looks at being responsible online, what's ethical, responsible behaviour, how do you look after your password securities and your privacy settings online, how to deal with cyberbullying, so that's there as well. I suppose for me, and probably to try to put it simply for parents, it's a little bit like the swimming pool analogy. We put a fence around the swimming pool to keep the non-swimmers out, and we do that with our filtering system. While we're teaching our children to swim, we're educating them in the pool, but even when they start swimming, we still supervise them during that period of time. So I think it's those 3 things when you're trying to look at how do you keep them safe in something that's got to be there, it's got to continually change, it's got to be part of their life.
And we can't keep fighting against it. I think we've got to embrace it, don't we?
We need to embrace it and just be able to learn from them, but also be able to change them in the right way to be responsible and right users of that technology for the future.
Beverly, as a mum of a teenager about to start the HSC, how would you answer this question? Okay,
nervously.
My daughter is on Facebook and MSN all the time when she's supposed to be studying. She says she can do both, but I can't watch over her shoulder all the time. What do I do?
Okay. It's a knife edge, this one, because if you say that's it, you're not going to do it. They'll do it anyway. Or if you say go for your life, it doesn't matter, they'll be up all night doing it. So I think really it's about negotiating again and helping to come up with some sort of programme that works best for you. I can say what we're trying to do with our son. I'll let you know this time next year if it's worked.
Okay, come on, what are you doing with your son?
He has a separate study area where he has a laptop which isn't plugged in, and he can do all his word processing stuff. Now the tricky thing is sometimes you'd need to go online and get all the information, and that's fine. Then we've also asked him, when are your friends most likely to be on MSN and Facebook? And okay, that's a time when you can go and do that. I mean, not all homes have the luxury of having another space or another computer, so I get that. It's difficult, but it's being open and saying, look, you've got to focus on your studies, but you can still do this as well. It's trying to negotiate.
Do you think the technology needs to go off at night time though? Otherwise, as you say, they can be up all night on their phones.
Yes, well, I can tell you several times I've crept down and pulled all plugs out, everything, just the whole lot's come out. So.
Really? And that's worked? Well, you think it has?
For that night. But then we have to go and renegotiate.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
So your school has classes from kindergarten all the way through to year 12. From a learning perspective, I know I've got a year 3 student who already knows how to put together a PowerPoint presentation. How do parents keep up, and what role do you think we have to play in making sure kids don't just copy or plagiarise information without checking facts?
I don't think parents have to keep up. In fact, I think it's a really good opportunity for parents to learn from their children. One of the best ways to learn is to teach. So if you can say to your child, show me what you're doing and how you're doing it, you might pick something up, which is nice, but you're also reinforcing that learning for the child. So I don't think parents have to keep up. In terms of plagiarism and so on, it's really important that parents know what they're children are doing, that they're aware of how they're using the internet, the sites that they're accessing and how they're using those sites.
So again, that's a way of working out what your child is doing. If you're saying, can you show me?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's quite a good tactic.
Yes.
I'm interested, can you show me what Facebook's all about or what you're doing?
That's right. And giving some support and some advice around the sites that they're using, so that you can ensure that there is reliability in those sites, and that the work that they're producing is actually going to be valid and their own work and not the work of somebody else.
Martine, we have a question from a concerned dad. He says, my son is almost obsessed with being connected to his friends 24/7. He even wants to sleep with his phone under his pillow. What should I do? Should I be worried?
Teenagers are obsessional communicators, and we can all remember spending hours on the phone as
True.
teenagers. You know, Facebook is another way of communicating and other technologies. Same though as our parents chucked us off the phone eventually. I think that there needs to be some level of control, as Beverly was talking about, if for no other reason to ensure that they're getting enough sleep. I definitely am seeing in my practice children where this need to be connected is a major source of anxiety, and the threat of not being connected can cause major strife within houses. And to me, anything that can cause that much anxiety and angst, too much of it can't be a good thing.
So are you seeing almost an addiction to...
Yeah, you know, if they came in and said that they were drinking or using other drugs, the presentation wouldn't be that much different. This anxiety at the prospect of being deprived of it.
Beverly, another really common question is my daughter is being bullied on Facebook and I just want to ban her from the internet so that it can all cool down. Some experts say that's not the right response. What do you think?
This is a really tricky one because you don't want your daughter to be involved in the bullying, but I don't think banning her is going to solve it either, because it will exclude her, because that's where all the other good social stuff goes on as well. I mean, good social communications happen too. I think it's perhaps going back to what Greg was saying about the safe use of the internet and helping her work through her way through that, knowing when to block, knowing when not to respond to people. So saying, you know, let me know what's going on and I'll help you with it. If it doesn't all calm down fairly quickly and it's pretty awful bullying and it's coming from school, then I would let the school know. But I wouldn't overreact to start with, but try all of that first and be open with her.
Greg, following on from Beverly's comments, we've had a few parents write in about their kids being bullied online after school hours by people they couldn't identify. Is there any point in that situation telling the school?
I think there's two important points about telling the school of that sort of behaviour. One is simply if there's change of behaviour with their own child at school, it could be as a result of that. So it'd be important to communicate that so the school is very much aware if there's, as I said, that change of behaviour or whatever, and support could be provided to that individual child. The second part of that, though, is even if they can't identify the other people involved in that around the cyberbullying or the interaction by providing that information to the school, it may be another small piece of other information that the school may also hold. So then in a sense there could be something that the school could be able to be involved and help with the parents to intervene and get a better solution to that.
So just to sum up, there are some basic rules, or are there some basic rules that parents should follow when we're talking about technology?
I think Beverly's certainly suggested that we have controls around the use of technology, monitoring how our kids are using the technology, being aware of how they're using it, what they're using it for, the times when they're using it. But I also believe really strongly in family time, and I think that one of the most important things you can do is make dinner time technology free. So sitting down with your family, having a meal, talking about your day. That's where we talk about, you know, how was school today and what did you do before recess and what did you do after, asking those specific sorts of questions. So technology free family time is really essential. Having that time not only maybe
that applies
before
to
dinner.
Adults, doesn't it too?
Absolutely.
Adults have to turn their phones off too.
Yes. So certainly prioritising family time over the use of technology.
All right, great advice. We have a lot more helpful advice and information on the School A to Z website. I'd really encourage all parents to take a look at the technology section where you'll find more videos and articles on cyberbullying, sexting, mobile phones and using the internet safely and responsibly.